Hi everyone, welcome to Must Read Monday. My name is Dabney. I'm the young adult librarian at the Twin Lakes Library System and I use they, them pronouns. Today I'm going to be talking to you all about 3 new books that we just got in our March cart. So these are out on the shelves. You can check them out now. If you didn't know, you can come by the library and browse our shelves. You can make an appointment to come do that. I think we're also accepting walk-ups, so get in there and get some books. And one thing I'll say, these books, they all have really gorgeous covers and they are all blue. And so, I don't know, that just made me happy. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started with Down Comes the Night by Allison Soft. And this one I really liked a lot. It is a fantasy and kind of like fantasy, mystery, romance. I personally think it would appeal to fans of the Grishaverse and to fans of Sorcery of Thorns. So let me just read you the little blurb. He saw the darkness in her magic. She saw the magic in his darkness. Wren Sutherland's reckless use of magic has cost her everything. She's been dismissed from the Queen's Guard and separated from her best friend, the girl she loves. So when a letter arrives from a reclusive lord asking Wren to come to his estate, Colic Hall, to cure his servant of a mysterious illness, she seizes her chance to redeem herself. The mansion is crumbling, icy winds haunt the caved-in halls, and Wren's eccentric host forbids her from leaving her room after dark. Worse, her patient isn't a servant at all, but Hal Cavendish, the infamous Reaper of Vesria, and her kingdom's sworn enemy. He also came to Colic Hall for redemption, but the secrets in the estate have led them both to their deaths. May lead them both to their deaths. With sinister forces at work, Wren and Hal realize they have to join together if they have any hope of saving their kingdoms. But as Wren circles closer to the nefarious truth behind Hal's illness, they realize they have no escape from the monsters within the mansion. All they have is each other and a startling desire that could be their downfall. Dun, 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 dun. So this I really liked a lot. I like Wren, the main character. So in this world, there's like these 2 battling nations, and you know, these nations both have magic users, and they've been at war for like 100 years. No one is really winning. Like, there's just people dying all the time, and part of the war is based on like religious propaganda. Like the countries have like competing like ideas and religions and philosophies, and so yeah, there's just like been this constant war going on, and Wren, is a teen, and she's been part of this war since a child. So a lot of the soldiers she's with were also like child soldiers, including her best friend who she's in love with. So they like trained together, they fought together all this time. But Wren, like, despite everything that's going on and everything she's been through, she's still very like kind and soft-hearted. Like, she's a medic, so of course she wants to like heal people instead of kill people. So at the beginning, she like heals an enemy that they've captured, which allows this soldier to like get away from them, and that's what gets Wren in trouble. And the queen, who is, I believe, her aunt, is going to like exile her and like separate her from her friends. So that's when Wren gets this invitation to go stay with this noble and cure his servant. And she's like, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to earn my redemption, like get back into the queen's good graces. And then, of course, she meets Hal, and she has these, conflicting thoughts. Like, he's like enemy number 1, but he's sick, and of course she wants to, she's kind of torn between like, should I heal him? Should I kill him? Should I betray him? Like, what should I do? So I really liked, I thought she was a very sympathetic character, and the struggle she goes through are real, and yeah, and I just like, I loved getting her backstory as well, and I thought like it was just, everything was woven together really seamlessly, and how, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil things, but I like how a lot as well. And there's like some great supporting characters, and yeah, I just thought it was a really interesting fantasy world, and enjoyed the plot, enjoyed the characters. So for me, it was a really good, entertaining read, and I think this is a standalone, but I could totally read more like set in this world because that's how much I liked it. But yeah, it's very, we're in springtime now. I feel like this was a nice like wintry read, but of course you can read it anytime. And then we have Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. This is a fantasy, and it's kind of like a retelling of Peter Pan. And let me just read you the little blurb. When children go missing, people want answers. It's been 5 years since Wendy and her 2 brothers vanished into the woods near the small coastal town of Astoria, Oregon. Wendy returned with no memory of where she had been or what happened to her. Her brothers did not. When the town's children start to disappear, the mystery around her brothers is brought back into the light, and the police are once again knocking on Wendy's door for answers. Attempting to flee her past, Wendy almost runs over an unconscious boy lying in the middle of the road. Peter, a boy she thought lived only in her stories, asks for Wendy's help to rescue the missing kids. But in order to find them, Wendy must confront what's waiting for her in the woods. So I'll just point this out. Like, I love this cover, and one thing I didn't notice is that there's this dark space in the middle, and it's actually like Wendy's brothers' faces. So that's cool. So yeah, this is like a Peter Pan sort of retelling, Peter Pan with like a big twist. So yeah, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to like spoil things for you all. So yeah, I thought it was an interesting take, like moving the story from its roots to like Astoria, Oregon, present day. All the characters are named, of course, after the Peter Pan characters. So you've got like Wendy Darling and her brothers, John and Peter, and her parents. And so yeah, most of, this kind of like is a mystery. So you've got like missing kids, you've got the mystery of like what happened to Wendy that she's forgotten all those years ago, and you've got the mystery of Peter coming back into her life when she thought like he wasn't actually real. So yeah, you all, if that sounds good, check it out. I'll also say that Aiden Thomas is the author of Cemetery Boys, which is one of my favorite books. I really love it. And then we've got The Mirror Season by Anna Marie McLemore. This cover is just everything. I love it so much. So let me read you the blurb. Okay. Graciela Cristales' whole world changes after she and a boy she barely knows are assaulted at the same party. She loses her gift for making enchanted pan dulce. Neighborhood trees vanish overnight while mirrored glass appears, bringing reckless magic with it. And Ciela is haunted by what happened to her and what happened to the boy whose name she never learned. But when the boy, Locke, shows up at Ciela's school, He has no memory of that night and no clue that a single piece of mirrored glass is tearing his life apart. Ciela decides to help him, which means hiding the truth about that night, because Ciela knows who assaulted her and him, and she knows that their survival depends on no one finding out what really happened. So, obviously this book is very intense, and, content warning that, yes, it does deal with sexual assault, and not to spoil anything, but Ciela's memories of that night kind of get more detailed as the book goes on. So there, it could potentially be triggering to people. So just, keep that in mind. And there's also bullying in the book from the people responsible for the assault. So that's another thing to be aware of. But yeah, this book, when I was reading it, I read it really fast because obviously, it was, sometimes when I read books that are, difficult, I have to just, power through, as fast as I can because I want to make sure, everyone is going to be okay. I just get, really, I don't know, it just really touches me. And so I'm I have to make sure y'all are going to be all right. So that, I don't know, I just powered through this, as fast as I could. But one thing, if you've read any of Anna Marie McLemore's books, you'll know the writing is gorgeous. And the books often have this, magical realism element to it, which is also going on in the Mirror season. It talks about trees disappearing, plants and flowers turning to glass. So there's and then the magic pan dulce, which is really cool. So Ciela, she has this talent that's kind of run in her family that people come into their pastry shop and she can sense exactly what pastry to get for them. But after the assault, she loses that ability. And as the story goes on, she's kind of trying to regain that. So yeah, it's, in a lot of ways, this book is really heavy and it deals with things that are hard to read about, but at the same time, it's balanced out by kind of everything else, by Ciela's growing friendship with Locke, her family relationships, she's got a really wonderful and supportive family, and she's got a really great best friend, and so yeah, there is a balance. I don't want you to think this is all super dark and hard to get through, because there is there's a lot going on. And I don't know, it's just, I mean, I gave it 5 stars. I really felt it was a beautiful story and told really well. And yes, and I don't know, it was just great. And also there's there's, diverse rep with the characters, there's queer rep with the characters that I really love to see. And yeah, I mean, this cover is poetry, the book is poetry, and I definitely recommend it, probably for older teens. Also, I forgot to mention that this is got fairy tale elements, so I think the Snow Queen is kind of the fairy tale referenced with the mirror shards, and the mirror shards getting into Locke, and Ciela's desperately trying to keep this the mirrors contained and keep people from finding out. So yeah, again, the magical fantasy element. But yeah, these are all very different, very good. yeah, I hope you all will come to the library and check them out. You can find our new books. If you go into the young adult room, you look under the window, we've got them all lined up, and we'll also be getting them shared on our Goodreads page, so you can browse that way as well. But yeah, I hope you all have a good day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!